The national champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
At Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
the SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
the 1-0. In the air, right center field. Cross on the move. Will get there. Tennessee walks it off. Simple step. Deep range. Come on now. And don't connect. Probably trying this time. Indeed. But two-hand jam. Down the middle. Got it. Surprise. High it again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top, this is college football and it's absolute best.
This is college athletics. It doesn't feel like it right now, but my God, we are here. It is a Sunday afternoon, evening. It is a little bit later than normal. It's 8:15. That is all thanks to me. Michael's ready to go, but I was not. But by God, we are here now. Like I said, it's been a little rough stretch here, but Michael, how are we doing personally, my man?
You know what? Personally, can't complain at all. Nobody listened to us, even if we did complain. But
That's
you know,
right.
all is well in the world on this side. Been a little bit rainy out past
Yeah.
couple of days, a little stormy at times too. But you know what? It's the way it goes sometimes, man. How about you, Aaron? How's everything over there?
Dude, everything is, I hate to say to plan because we really don't plan. We're Americans, but by God, the wife is graduating this week. So she's got some family coming into town. Your boy's been able to play some golf quite often lately. So I'm feeling good there. Don't ask me how I'm playing. I'm still not playing good, but God dang it, I'm out there. Right. That's all that matters. And, dude, it's been, like you said, kind of rain every now and then. It's really hard to keep up with the series this weekend because of all the delays, but we are going to talk about it right here on the Vol Fanatics Show. And before we get into too much, I do want to let you guys know who our presenting sponsor is. It is Chris Smith Insurance. He's the guy that keeps us going, man. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he started his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Give him a call at 865-272-3387. He's added to his team because he is growing just like we are. And not only is he going to find you the best coverage and the best rate, but he's also going to find you the best coverage. He's going to get you both because they are both equally important. And the worst thing ever is for you to have that claim and you not be properly insured. So, Chris, we appreciate your support. And thank you so much for helping us grow the channel.
Yeah, absolutely. So quick rundown tonight. It is going to be a shorter show than normal with it being later. You know, Skylar just got home not too long ago. Got to spend some time with the family. Family is number one priority for us here at the Vol Fanatics Show.
Amen.
But before we get into the rundown, do want to just make mention we are the official Tennessee podcast of the College Huddle. Going to be making mention of this every single week. As I mentioned last week, the College Huddle does have a new YouTube channel. Please go follow it when you get a chance. It is I believe the underscore is just College Huddle. You can also follow them on Twitter, where you can find us as well. The College Huddle is made up of 80 plus podcasts that are just like us from schools all over the nation in the FBS. So check that out. We're very proud to be a part of the College Huddle. But today's rundown, we are going to talk about softball first as they start the SEC tournament this week. Then we're going to be hitting Tennessee baseball. And then we're going to finish off with our coaches entering 2025 that are on the hot seat. So could be controversial. We'll see. But before we get into all that, I would like to give you our segment one sponsor, and that is Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. I cannot talk today, Skylar.
No, you're good, man.
Call 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or you can go on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So softball this week, not really the way that they wanted to finish off the season, as I actually found out by listening to the Eric Ainge show. All they had to do this weekend was sweep and have Florida take 2 out of 3 from Oklahoma, which was a huge, huge task. But if they would have done that, then the Lady Vols are your back-to-back-to-back regular season SEC champions. And unfortunately, as you see here, the Lady Vols were not able to get it done. So the rest of the weekend didn't really matter what happened. You weren't going to win the title. And I think they had a top 4 spot secured no matter what happened the rest of the weekend here. But, I mean, both of these pitchers here in this game pitched absolute gems all the way to the 7th inning. And unfortunately, Texas A&M was able to get a run across, and Tennessee was not. Scott, your thoughts on this game?
My thoughts were it's kind of like every game. It seems like Harlan Pickens throws a gem and just the offense. I mean, only being able to generate one hit. I mean, come on, help out your girl. And then what makes this even more painful is she didn't even struggle in the 7th. There was 2 outs, and then we got an error. And I think it was Taylor Pannell, bless her heart. She's one of our best players. She couldn't make the play at third. And literally with 2 outs, they were able to get that runner all the way home, and that ended up being the game. And that stings, man. That I don't want to say it's a game that got away because it's not like we were in the lead. We didn't even generate a run, but it was one of those things where A&M obviously capitalized on the one mistake we made, and that really stung. And I think really what ended up being the series right there, honestly. I know that was only game 1, but that really was a punch to the gut right there. And unfortunate for Lady Vols, they did fall in the series early, but A&M, a top 5 ranked team. I mean, this is a great game, and no means does I think that in no way do I think that this hinders our postseason expectations. But definitely, as far as like you said, trying to get the best overall seed in the tournament, this one hurt.
Yeah, it really did. And you mentioned just the one hit on the night, that by Savia Morgan in the contest. But got to give complete credit to Kennedy. To Kennedy for Texas A&M. Emily Kennedy, man, she pitched a fantastic game.
And she's a great pitcher, man. Not to be overlooked. She's 18-4 on the year. I mean, she's been throwing great.
Yeah, 18-4. Now, I will say the walk numbers are kind of staggering, as Tennessee drew 8 walks on her in this game, but
she was able to pitch around it.
Exactly, able to pitch around it. Defense stepped up behind her, still had 10 strikeouts in the game. Just a great overall effort from Kennedy in this contest. And, this is a good Texas A&M team. Don't get me wrong. They were ranked number 1 in the nation a couple of weeks ago.
Their defense is good.
Yeah, their defense is very good. And then their bats get just enough most games. So unfortunate to take this one on the chin in game 1, but game 2, one that was delayed due to the weather. Tennessee does get this one back, 5-1 victory in this game. And let me just tell you, man, Sophia Nugent said, "Hey, we're not getting swept. We are getting a win somewhere along the way." As she knocked home two 2-run home runs in this game to finish off with 4 RBIs on the day.
That's right. Her and 9-hole hitter Ella Dodge going 2 for 2 at the plate. Really, really. I mean, that was kind of the offense for Tennessee. Sage Marjeko pitching a dime. I mean, come on. She's coming on at the right time. You heard Karen Weekly say any great team, usually, in the past, maybe in the last 5 years ago and previous, you could get away with one good pitcher. But now the way tournament's set up and all that, you really need that second good arm. And Sage is really stepping up to the plate. So I'm really glad to see how she pitched the ball. She pitched a contact, but the defense played behind her. And because she only got the three strikeouts, but she did not really walk. She didn't walk anybody. So that's huge. And she, kept her for 5 innings pitch. I think she only threw the ball 60 pitches. So, that is insane pitch count for 5 innings of work. That's what you need to see. And you had the feeling that the offense is going to come around in some way, being basically no hit in the first game, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this offense, they might have one game where they struggle, don't get a run across, but then they're going to have at least one game where they do come out and that was this game here, as the 5-1 victory. But it was really just two people, as you mentioned. You had Sophia Nugent, and then you had Ella Dodge getting 2 hits apiece. Only 2 other hits in the game, one by Savia Morgan, the other by Taylor Pannell. And let's see, Gabby Leach looks like she was walked twice in this game. She had the other RBI in this game. So yeah, great to see Tennessee get a victory in game 2. Sets up the rubber match in game 3 that unfortunately Texas A&M just took it and ran with it. A run rule victory, 13-2 in game 3. This was a doubleheader on Saturday before all the rain got in. And just unfortunate the Lady Vols couldn't get this one. But Texas A&M was hot. And I will say, you could tell that, not that Karen Weekly was giving up or anything, but she knew that at this point, Tennessee had kind of secured the spot they were going to have in the tournament, because you pitched Aaron Newer, Peyton Tanner, and Charlie Orsini, 3 very capable arms, but some arms that you're trying to get action before you get into tournament play, kind of to see where they are at. You didn't go with your ace, Carlin Pickens. You didn't throw Sage Marjetko back out there. So, I guess
I think some of that.
The question that I have here is, how confident is Karen Weekly in these 3 to put into a spot in the postseason after today's performance?
I don't know. I think a lot of that, though, had to do with the way Texas A&M came out strong, and Tennessee once again, dude, our offense is struggling. We've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
They've been, in my opinion, subpar or below average all year, but we've been able to get away from it because, I mean, our pitching has just been so good. But I do feel like this kind of poses a big problem. And it's kind of funny how I hate to just compare, baseball, because this is the softball segment, but game 3s, for some reason, rubber match has been really a struggle, especially if there's a doubleheader, if there's a rain delay. And we've had a couple of those here in the last couple of weeks. So I think Aaron Newer got roughed up. Let's be honest. That's abnormal. Like you said, A&M was hot.
Yes.
She walked a batter. And 1 inning of work, or just over 1, I guess 4 outs, basically. She gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 were earned. Didn't even get a single strikeout. I mean, it's just like she got hit. And you'll have that. And I think when A&M, look, after 2 innings was up 5-0, I think that kind of played into Karen Weekly's pitching rotation situation a lot different. I mean, who knows? Maybe we seen Sage go back out there. Anybody, I don't know. But Carlin Pickens threw a lot, obviously, so you don't know how you want to overthrow her right before the tournament. I don't know, but either way, you just got to tip your hat to A&M. They came out and being run ruled in a rubber match at home, that stung, man. That just hurts.
Yeah, and how much of this also was maybe the weather, the ladies not being mentally tough enough in this game.
A&M had to play with that too, so it's just
exactly. So it makes you. It does pose the question there: how mentally tough are they whenever things don't go their way? But this is also an outlier. We've seen the Lady Vols be backed up against the wall numerous times this year, and they've come out of it on the positive side. Yep. Unfortunately, this time they weren't able to, and you see the result there. But
I mean, you played. Look, this was. You played Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M, 3 of your top 4 teams, basically, if we're being honest. Or at least at the time that you played them, they were absolutely top 5 teams. I think at some point you were going to lose a series, right? At some point. And they did. I mean, this is only their 2nd series loss of the year, Arkansas and A&M. And then I think, like I said, long-term, though, like going into postseason, none of my expectations have deferred, even with this butt whooping that we got in game 3. I just think, honestly, I'm glad that we lost like this right before the tournament, because hopefully it brings back some of that fire and some of that energy into our offense, because, man, we need to find it quick.
Yeah, completely agree with you. So going to swap over to this other view here, pull up screen share as the tournament bracket is officially released. And Tennessee is the 4 seed going into the tournament. So the number 1,
the double bye. That's fine.
Yes. So for those that don't know, baseball and softball, now that there are 16 teams in the conference, it is set up just like the basketball tournament. It is all single elimination. You have 12. All right, so I take it back. Softball is 15 teams because Vanderbilt does not have one.
That's right.
So you have the 12 and 13 teams playing each other, which is Georgia and Kentucky in game 1. Game 2 is Ole Miss and Missouri. Game 3 is Alabama and Auburn. Second round, game 4, the matchup is already set. It's Mississippi State and LSU. Arkansas will face the winner of Georgia and Kentucky. Florida will face the winner of Ole Miss and Missouri. And then South Carolina will face the winner of Alabama and Auburn. The quarterfinal teams that have the double bye, Oklahoma, the 1 seed, Tennessee, the 4 seed, Texas, the 3 seed, and Texas A&M, the 2 seed. So Tennessee likely to face off against Arkansas on, let's see, that would be Friday. I think so. Let's see.
And if you win that,
the 8th. The 8th, that is Thursday. So looks like it is the 6th, which is, the 6th is Tuesday. Wednesday is the 7th. Thursday is the 8th. So the championship game will be on Saturday for softball. And you got to like the matchup against Arkansas, being that they took 2 out of 3 from you in Knoxville earlier in the season. You got to think there's a revenge factor coming around.
Well, and it's game 1. Probably going to play your best, right?
Yeah.
So
you have to.
Yeah, got to play your best and then just hope that you get that semifinal game, right? I mean, I think that's a win for the Lady Vols. Obviously, you want to go and win because you didn't get to win the regular season, so you want to make that push. But I think if you can get past what would likely be Arkansas, not guaranteed in any way, because we've seen just like in basketball, sometimes you get a run from these lower seeded teams, probably because they need it, right? Lower seeded teams going into tournament play, it means a lot more for them so they can get in to the field of 64, right? So we'll see. Really excited for the ladies getting that double bye, though. Is it Oklahoma got the 1 seed? Who's got the 1?
Oklahoma got the 1 seed.
Yep.
Texas A&M actually got the 2 seed, and then Texas was a 3 seed.
Yeah. So I mean, if we win, likely Oklahoma in semifinals, and I'm cool with that, man. I'm let's go. Like, if you want to win, you got to beat the best. So let's get it.
Yeah, exactly. And my expectations coming in, I could see a semifinal matchup with Oklahoma. I'm not going to sit here and say that's a win because Oklahoma is tough. You went to Oklahoma and beat them this year. They're going to be looking for some revenge.
Exactly. And I would like to get revenge on Arkansas. So if we could just get that win right there, don't go one and done, right? Like, you don't want to go to the tournament and lose right out of the gate. Like, go in there, prove that you're worth it, and try to secure the best seed possible. Because I mean, at this point, Lady Vols are kind of clinging on to holding on to a top 8 seed because, I mean, I think they were ranked 2nd. They just lost the series again. So, we need to really stay, and I think they will be, but we really need to stay top 8. So that way, if, we make it to supers, we host that. That's key.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the bracket here. Go ahead and take this graphic back off. Do you have anything else on softball before we move ahead to the baseball in segment 2?
I don't, man, but didn't it feel like that regular season just flew by?
It really did. It seemed like by the time that we started covering the baseball and softball, it was like that, and the regular season was over with for softball.
I mean, they may have gotten a month. I mean, by the time basketball was done and we really focused on baseball and softball, they only got a month. Really, I mean, that was insane how fast that went by. But that's a credit to the basketball teams, men's and women's, for how long they went. And we'll do the same thing. Obviously, there's no sport. Football is quite a bit away, but baseball, they'll get the coverage all the way through playoffs. So I'm here for it, man. I'm excited about it. And like I said, I'm all about tournament ball, and I'm ready to watch it this week, man. It's going to be fun.
Yep, completely agree with you, man. So do you want to give us our segment 2 sponsor before we talk about some Tennessee baseball?
You already know it. It's P&L Business Services. So we know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Trust the folks right here, again, in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, at pnlbusinessservices.com is how you reach out to them. Again, guys, it's so important to have these folks in your corner so that way you can continue to focus not just on your business, but the customer service that you know that you're great at. And it's always a struggle to keep that up if you're having to, focus on payroll or accounting or, tax season. Like, leave that to the professionals and you keep kicking butt taking care of your clients. And P&L Business Services, we appreciate you for your continued support of segment 2. So yeah, segment 2, I think we're going to roll straight into baseball. Baseball had a midweek game, and I love that you bring it up because I know everybody probably wants to talk about the SEC match, but I really want to focus on this game right here, not because we won, But we finally seen the lineup change that I think everybody's been begging for, right, in this game.
Yep. Yep.
So if folks that
we-
don't follow that much or don't know what I'm necessarily talking about, it's look, I love Ariel Antigua. I really do. He's so good with the glove, and I do think his bat was getting warmer, but overall was still a sub 200 batter and kind of a liability in the lineup. And in my opinion, if you're not adding value to the plate, we can find anybody else to play out in the field, right? So Ariel Antigua still learning at the plate, and because of that, he's no longer in the lineup. We moved. Actually, not even Dean Curley. We moved Gavin Keelan to shortstop, which I love that because Dean Curley struggled himself out in the field. They moved Dean Curley to second, and then they brought Dalton Bargo out from outfield up to third base, which I liked that. And then who went to left field?
Left field was
Reese Chapman, maybe? Who
no,
went
it
out
was
there?
Chris Newstrom actually got the start in the game at left field.
No kidding. So there, like I said, I don't think that's a forever position for him. But at least Tony Vitello did in the infield what I think everybody's kind of been wanting to see, and that way we can have 9 at bats that are somewhat, there, right? Around 300 average that gives you a chance to go over the wall or something like that. But in this game, obviously went down early, right? 4-2, and you answered in the second. But then you got the job done later on as the game went on, got the win and took care of business. But I think in this one, man, this was huge. The freshman, I think, Stone Lawless, what a day, bro. Like, I mean, come on now. 2 for 3, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. And then he got walked as well. I mean, the dude just found a way and really carried the offense in this game.
Yeah, and not just walked. He was intentionally walked because his first 2 at bats.
That's right.
His first 2 at bats
That's
were
right.
both home runs, and then his third at bat, they said, "No, we ain't messing with you again. I'm just gonna put you on."
It's funny how it seems like, especially here in the last 5 years, there's always been at least one player get a 3 home run game, and I think he was well on his way to getting one, 100%. But they were smarter than that. They were smarter than that.
He was definitely seeing the ball, but a game that Tennessee really needed. And you mentioned the Ariel Antigua taken out of the lineup. The thing that stood out to me was them finally making the switch of putting Dean Curley at second, giving him a different, place. Do it.
Still found a way to have an error over there. He had a wild throw to first from second.
But he also had a fantastic stop up the middle.
He did. It's so crazy, man. Like the talent is there. I feel like it's mental with him, man. It is so mental. I don't know what's going on. I mean, to go from an All-American last year, freshman All-American, to I just feel like he's really had a disappointing season this far. And I hate that. He's wearing number 1. He had that pressure with obviously Christian Moore kind of telling him, "Hey, I want you to wear number 1." And to this point, I'll be blunt and honest, I don't feel like he's lived up to that. I really want to see him turn it on in the postseason. Obviously, they got a couple weeks left in the regular season, but I'm clinging my hat to saying, like, last year was crazy for us. Obviously, we won it, but we were hot and we won it. But if you look at the previous champions, man, they were really struggling in the regular season and got hot at the right time. Yeah. That's what I'm kind of clinging on, for this baseball team this year, is maybe to be a little bit more human and to be a little bit more normal in the fact that maybe we're just struggling in the regular season, but maybe that means we're going to get hot at the right time. That's my big hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. The only other takeaway I have from this game is I think you found another really good bullpen piece for the weekend in Michael Sharman, as he had a fantastic outing in this game. Let's see, Krenzel got the start in this game. Then you brought in Ryan Combs and Brandon Arvidsson, but then they brought in Michael Sharman in the 3rd inning, and all he did was just go 4 1/3, give up 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He had himself a fantastic outing there, and Vitello just said, "Hey, I'm going to let you go as long as you can in this game. Just see what you got for me." And he did a fantastic job. Brought in Austin Breedlove to face one batter. Then Dylan Loy and Nate Snead finished things off in the contest. So that's my takeaway, is I think you found another weekend bullpen piece to help out a bullpen that really needs some help over the last couple of series.
Right on. Let's move along to the opening game against Auburn.
Yeah, so that opening game, you can say that Tennessee got screwed after that first night. This was a Friday night game that, one one half of an inning got played. Am I right in that? Or did Tennessee get bats in the bottom of the first?
I don't recall, but I remember Liam Doyle basically throwing an inning and then that was it.
Yeah, he threw an inning, gave up a 2-run home run. If you look back, that ball hit the top of the wall. It did not go over that line at the top of the wall. If you look back at
I
it.
mean,
They called it a 2-run home run. There was no review or anything. Whatever.
yeah.
So the game was suspended until Saturday, in which they finished it. Tennessee does eventually drop this one 6-1. It's unfortunate the way that things went, but Auburn also had to play in this game.
Yep.
And Auburn ended up playing pretty well overall. Ended up getting a win.
Yeah, I mean, this game was frustrating because Tennessee had a decent amount of hits, not as much as you want. They had 6 hits, but they couldn't put it back to back. And at one point, I think it was in this game, maybe they had back to back hits. They just couldn't get a run across, man. Dude, it was so frustrating. And Dalton Bargo, stay hot, kid. I mean, going 2 for 4 at the plate, got a double. Was the lone run of the day, but just overall, just kind of like the ladies, man, just couldn't string enough offense. Had an error. This was kind of an ugly game, to be honest with you. This might have been the game that I was talking about where Dean Curley tried to backhand. He did a perfect backhand play at second, and then just dang near threw it to the dugout on a mishap. And so, but either way, man, it was a tough game one. It was an ugly game one, and I mean, Auburn's not bad of a team at all. In fact, they've had a crazy turnaround from last year to this year. But in my mind, just don't feel like they're that much better than you. In fact, I feel like you are the better team, just not this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. It goes weekend by weekend too. I don't feel like Texas A&M is a better ball club than Tennessee. I know for a fact Kentucky is not a better ball club than Tennessee, but it just so happened that when you faced off against these teams, whether it be the circumstances around the game or just different things happen, they end up being the better ball club, the games that you played against them. I'm not going to say the same about LSU because I think that they are on par with you. You just had some unfortunate breaks in the games and LSU took advantage of.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely one that
LSU is the only series loss of the year on the road. The other 3, I think, were at home, and I don't know what is it for. This is completely unlike Tony Vitello's teams to be losing at home. I mean, it's one thing to lose a couple series, but usually it's been on the road for Tony Vitello. We've been a real struggle here at home, and I don't even feel like it's been to the greatest competition. I mean, A&M was absolutely in the dumps. And then they got hot against us at home, and then that kind of turned around their season. But since then, man, it's just I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I've got some thoughts, but I want to give them after we do our Game 3 recap.
Okay, right on.
Yeah. So,
hey, I want to shout out the freshman, Jay Abernathy, going 1 for 1. I like Jay Abernathy a lot. I think he needs to try to find his way into the field a little bit more. Even if you got to put him out in the outfield, I'm totally cool with that, man. Like, let him play left field. Like, let him be that filler spot. Jay Abernathy may not be the powerful, hitter that you want, but he finds a way on base, and to me, that's more important than anything. Especially when you move Gavin Keelan at the leadoff batter. You get Jay Abernathy on, give Gavin somebody in front of him that gets on base, and I love that idea. So, but shout out to him. Levi Clark got a double yesterday. Went 1 for 3 at the plate. Just overall, man, just got to get more offense. Got to clean it up on defense, more offense, and Liam Doyle kind of got snubbed out of a whole weekend, really, in my opinion. I think he only went the 1 inning, right? And then I think he came back in the overtime game we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's SEC rules that if you start on one night, you can't come back the next day, what exactly it is, but he only got the 1 inning, and then moving over to Game 2 the next day.
But
he ends up closing the game out, throwing 2 innings in this one. So not sure exactly how the rules work.
But then allegedly got tossed.
Yeah,
so I don't know what that was all about, and I don't even know how that was a 1-player suspension, like how that went in both ways. I don't know. But either way, this game was fun. This was awesome. If you're about baseball, this is what it's all about. This game was frustrating. Kind of the same as Game 1. We got a bunch of hits, but it felt like it was going against us for so long. I mean, we were down, I think, at one point, 3-2, and it was later in the game. It might have been this. I think it was maybe the 6th inning because we did score 1 in the 7th, thanks to a home run. But I think it was in the 6th. we had a double with, I think maybe one out. We had a double. And then you get the base hit from Hunter Hensley that you need, but he hits it in the left gap right to the outfielder, and we're only able to advance to third. So now you're first and third, and then the next guy gets out, and you end up leaving and stranding two guys on base. That was so frustrating because you got the guy in scoring position, got the base hit you needed, but it was such a burner of I think it was a grounder. It just went straight through shortstop and third, went straight to the outfielder, and unfortunately couldn't score. But like, it was things like that was like, man, what is going on with it? Like, why can't we just get across, right? But then obviously we were able to find a way in the bottom of the ninth. Man, that was crazy. I caught the highlights, couldn't watch the game because, dude, it was so hard to follow with all the rain delays and stuff. But Michael, what are your thoughts on this game? This game ended up going into Sunday, like, to finish the game. But overall, Tennessee gets the win. You see 17 hits in the column. Hello. Like, why is there only 5 runs on the scoreboard? But 2 errors obviously aided to Auburn being able to stick around in the game.
Yeah, and that's my takeaway in this game. I just went through inning by inning looking at the hits and stuff. Tennessee had 6 innings in this contest where they had 1 or more hits and did not scrape across a run. I think they had 4 of those innings where there was 2 hits or more in the inning and did not scrape across a run. This game should have been over with in the regular innings, in 9 innings. Obviously, I mean, you had it really should have been over with before the rain delay, because the rain delay happened after the bottom of the 9th inning. So after the game should have been over with, and with 17 hits, the game should have been over with, man. That's my takeaway, is you just could not scrape across the runs that you needed. Trying to look real quick how many runners were left on base.
Why you do that? It's crazy, though. Auburn did kind of like, they played the perfect ball, right? They didn't get a ton of hits, but they had 3 guys get doubles, and it was like the guy after that got a single every time and scored them. Like, it was crazy how that worked out. And a lot of the guys didn't even have a lot of hits. It's just like, you know, they had 3 players go 1 for 4 with doubles. And then they had obviously 3 players, Irish, Steele, and Freilich. They each went 1 for 1, 2 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4, but they all 3 had RBIs. It's like that they hit with runners in scoring position at like basically 100% clip, and Tennessee did the exact opposite.
Yeah, so Tennessee left 13 runners on base.
Can you look up how much Auburn left on base?
Looks like they still had 9 runners left on base.
Okay.
But you know, they only had 8 hits. So
yeah,
it doesn't look as bad as Tennessee having 17 hits and leaving 13 on base. But
yeah,
I will say this about Auburn. It was huge for them last year to have Ike Irish come back for his senior season, as he is just an absolute monster. He's a big leader for this team. And to have him back along with the rest of the talent that was brought in, whether it be transfer portal or guys just coming back thinking that they had something else or something cooking going into this season, that was huge for them. And, you know, him going 2 for 4 in this game with 2 runs, and then he drove in a run himself. He's batting .342 on the season. So he's a big leader for them. But, yeah, Tennessee, you know, ended up getting it done. Marcus Phillips didn't have a bad day on the mound. Dylan Loy had himself a day in relief, going 3 2/3, only giving up 1 hit, 1 run. He had 3 strikeouts and no walks. Just fantastic outing from Dylan Loy out of the pen. Still liking what I'm seeing from Marcus Phillips. You know,
I got to give him some credit. Yeah, I was gonna say I got to give him some credit because he struggled early. Obviously, got hit, but then 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning, and 5th inning is where he got in trouble a little bit. I think bases were loaded in the 5th. I think that's where a lot of the Auburn's left on numbers is really in the 5th inning when bases were juiced and they were basically going to the mound. I mean, I thought Marcus was done. Like, they were trying to kill time and get the guys warmed up, but then he gets a huge strikeout. Yeah. And then it was able to stay in the game a little bit longer and got another 2 outs in the 6th inning. That I think is huge, man. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but to be able to battle through that and go out in the 6th inning, get another 2 outs to give that next guy that comes in after you just 1 out to work with. And it kind of extends your start, right? Because he only threw 85 pitches at the end of the day. So, I mean, it was huge. The way he worked through that, was able to extend his outing. And really, I think that boosted the team. And obviously, it didn't really matter as much because the game got delayed again, but it did go into extras. So and let's say all this game's played in, I guess it kind of worked the same way though. If this game was all played in one outing, you being able to stretch your outing out another 3-4 outs, it just is huge in the bullpen, especially when you go into overtime like this and extra innings. So
Yes.
I was just really proud of Marcus being able to battle through that.
Yeah, so just to correct you, it was the 4th and the 5th inning, but
Oh,
still,
my fault.
that was the exact scenario you're talking
Yeah.
about, where bases were juiced and he was able to get out of it without giving up a run. Got into a little bit of trouble in the 5th.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
when they went over to Dylan Loy. But yeah, great comeback victory in this one for Tennessee. Battled through adversity, but then you go over to Game 3 and this is the result is Tennessee drops their 3rd straight series of the season. And number one thing that sticks out to me, I've been so excited to have AJ Russell back in the lineup, but
Mhm.
you can tell he's still not 100%. The AJ Russell that you see there, that's not the AJ Russell that you really are expecting to get. So you could tell he's not 100% back. I mean, giving up 3 runs off of 3 hits, having a walk in there, over 10 batters faced. You're not used to seeing that. So
What
as
2
much
innings
as
did
much
he
as
pitch?
he started the game. Yeah, so he pitched the first 2 innings, came back out for the 3rd.
And didn't get a
And
single out?
yes. Yeah,
Wow.
did not get a single out in the 3rd. So as much as I love seeing AJ Russell back, maybe start somebody else, see if you can get a little bit of a lead.
He could be that. What did we do last year for the longest time when we had somebody start and then it was really like an inning or two, and no matter how good he was throwing, they just immediately throw in the next guy and let him go.
I can't remember.
It might have been the year before last, but
no, it was last year. I can't remember who the starter was, but you had the starter, and then it was AJ Causey come in.
Yeah,
and would basically pitch like 6-7 innings, whatever he could go.
And that was like our
Friday.
That was like our Friday night starter, wasn't it? Like that's how they did it. Yeah. So maybe something like that with AJ Russell. Maybe it's just the AJ thing. Like I don't know. Like clearly. I mean, he didn't start out bad. I mean, but obviously in that third inning, he got roughed up pretty bad. And again, man, a rubber match. Tony V gets thrown out, and you get blown out. I don't know. This one, I didn't catch it, but this one hurts. I mean, Hunter Inslee, dude, 4 for 6 last game, and then he goes 2 for 2 this game. Like, he's not the problem. He is absolutely not the problem. We got to figure it out both offensively and defensively. Look, only scoring 1 run, I don't care how much you gave up. Like, you can't win a game scoring 1 run. So we really got to lock in, figure it out. I don't know if we got run ruled or if they just called it early because of rain. I don't know, but
so SEC rules because of the Saturday game moving into Saturday, especially with it being
Sunday,
extra innings. The Saturday game rolling into Sunday because of the weather delay. And then, especially because it went to extra innings, the rule is that Sunday game is only 7 innings.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
I
So
did not know that.
Yeah, there's also like a travel rule too, that if it starts after a certain time, then by like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, we saw it happen earlier this year with A&M and Kentucky. You cannot start another inning, which ended up working out. They played the 7 inning before that time frame reached. But yeah, it's SEC rule that if something like that happens, then it's only 7 innings in that second game on Sunday. So that's why you're seeing only 7 there. But
well, there it is. And Cannon Peebles gets a home run. Hunter Inslee, like we said, goes 2 for 2. Levi Clark gets a double. So
that's it.
Yep, that is literally that's your 4 hits. Dude, I'm gonna shout him out because it's hurting us offensively, defensively. But I'm at the point now where I feel like Dean Curley shouldn't even be in the lineup. He is sub 300. I mean, his batting average has dropped like 100 points, dude. He's in such a slump. I don't know. Like,
I mean, you might have to bench him for a series.
I think it's worth it. Like, make his mind reset. Something you got to do something. It's so mental with him. It's insane.
But I've got a theory on these losses here recently, and I've actually got a very bold take here that people are not going to like, and I know you're not going to like this either. Tennessee will not win back-to-back national championships this year.
Shocker.
this team is not mentally tough. Each series that they have lost this year, you had the Texas A&M series that they lost first, kind of same deal. There's a weather delay. You had a doubleheader on the what was it, the Saturday contest? I think that was supposed to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Maybe.
But anyway, you had a doubleheader on Saturday in which you lose both games, if I'm not mistaken. You won game one and lost the second two. Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly what it was.
Because I was trying to chalk it up as just a bad day. Like, I was like, hey,
Yes,
it's fine. It's just a bad day.
Yeah. But, you know,
Lord.
Texas A&M had to play in the same conditions that you did, and they showed up and played. You didn't. Kentucky, don't really know what exactly happened there. Everything seemed to be perfect as far as condition.
I'll tell you what happened there is they get on base anyway they found a way, and then they stole all the way to third and then waited for a pass ball or a base hit, and then boom, it was Kentucky knew that we were never going to pick off anybody and took advantage of that. I mean, like I said, they had like 6 stolen bases in like the first 3 innings that we played in one of the games. I can't remember which game it was, but it was just insane how easily they were taking bags from us. Like that was almost, I don't know. You would think we'd make an adjustment, but like you mentioned in the show after that is, hey, we're okay giving that away because we know that our offense would pick us up. Just in that weekend, it didn't.
Yeah.
So.
The LSU series. You had that series won in game 1 because you ended up winning game 2.
In the ninth.
Yeah, 3-0 in the ninth inning. You give up 6 runs. I believe there was 3 errors in the ninth inning.
And I blame that one on 7.
Nate
Snead, thank you. Just 1-2 counts over and over and over again, and for some reason just leaves it right down the middle. I mean, just can't do that, man. 1-2 counts. I mean, I'm not saying like throw a ball, but like don't put it right down the don't. I mean, they're battling, right? They're defending the plate at that point, not really looking to hit their pitch. And when you throw it right down the middle, it just makes it easy on them because they're already looking to hit in a 1-2 count. So it just got to be smarter than that on the mound. And but yes, to your point. Sorry.
Yeah. So then this series against Auburn, they had to play in the exact same conditions you did. Granted, did they probably get screwed on Friday night? Yeah, I would say so. But you know what? Like I said, Auburn had to play in the same conditions you did. Auburn came out there and they played ball. They ended up getting 2 wins out of 3. You've got to be mentally tough, and this team is not there, which is why they will not. I won't say that they're not going to make it back to Omaha because they absolutely can, but they will not win the national championship this year.
If they don't show me something in the postseason, they won't make it to Supers. So,
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
I mean, I think we've, as a fan base, taken it for granted that how easy it's been for us to get to the Supers, and honestly, how easy it's been 3 of the last 4 years making it to Omaha. I don't know for a team right now that's making it to the Supers. That's kind of scary to think about. But
is this not the first time that Tony Vitello's team has? You know what? Scratch that. I was gonna ask, is this not the first time that they faced any sort of versatility that they needed to overcome? But
adversity.
Adversity. There you go. But the 23 team did because they had lost 2 of the first 3 series and then turned it around. And they got
swept by Missouri to start the season, and they turned it around.
Yeah,
but I mean, you're talking about a team this. You're talking about a team this year that started 20-0.
Yeah,
and now they're sub 500 since then. I think so. It's pretty wild. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but you gotta turn something around if you want to have success going forward. Because I would say I don't have the stats put up in front of me, but I would say that Tennessee is probably right in the middle of the pack in the SEC right now.
I wouldn't doubt it. And they're going to continue to drop in the rankings, which kind of sucks because you really want to be top 8. That's why I think these last 2 series, you really need to find a way to sweep somebody to make up for one of these series losses. And then really the SEC tournament, you're going to have to find a way to get in the championship game because that's the only hope I think that to get back into the top 8, because even if you're outside top 8, let's say you make it to Supers, well, now you're traveling somewhere, and I don't know, maybe that's better because Tennessee's not been able to play good at home lately. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. Tennessee took one on the chin again this week, but definitely it's baseball. They can get hot, and I'm hanging my head on the fact that before last year when we won regular season, won the tournament, and then won Omaha, right?
Yep.
Not a lot of teams do that. Like that. I don't think any team's really done that. So it's usually that team that's middle of the pack, maybe above average, that finds that finds the bat at the right time and comes together at the right time, kind of like basketball, right? Getting hot, shooting great. I'm hoping that that's what this team is building up to do. Is maybe to end the year, right? Final regular season series, let's sweep that one, and then we're playing ball like we're supposed to going into the tournament. Maybe get to the championship game, and then show that we're playing better ball going into the playoffs.
Yeah. So I've got the standings put up in front of me now. I'm actually kind of shocked. Take a guess where you think Tennessee is right now.
They're either 4th or 5th.
They are tied for 5th with
Yep.
Vanderbilt. So this weekend series against Vanderbilt is going to determine who has 5th place outright. You can still move up as the top standing, or really all the way through, is very close. Texas sits alone at the top of the conference, 19-5.
Yeah.
Arkansas, who actually swept Texas this weekend. Credit
That's
to
insane.
Arkansas, man.
That's insane. Yeah, because when you said 5, I was like, well, they were just like 18-2 or something like that. So that's crazy.
Yeah, so Arkansas 17-7 with sole possession of 2nd place. LSU and Georgia tied for 3rd at 15-9. Tennessee and Vanderbilt tied for 5th at 14-12. And there is a 4-way tie for 7th right now between Auburn, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Ole Miss. So depending on how Tennessee's last 2 series go against Vanderbilt and against Arkansas, you can either move up to one of the top 4 spots, which is where you want to be going into the tournament, or you can drop as low as 12th.
I could see it either way. Man. Vanderbilt's playing good ball. They just beat Alabama or series. They took the series against Alabama, and then Arkansas, man, they just swept Texas. So yeah, it's going to be a tough way, but I mean, Tony wouldn't have it any other way, man. So let's play some ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You got any other thoughts before we move ahead to our final segment?
None, man. Let's get on to the football segment.
All right, let's do it. And I will give you our segment 3 sponsor, which is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at kaizenpainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So we mentioned back earlier, we're going to be doing some different topics for our 3rd segment going forward. It's list season. It's talking season for football. So one of the things that we decided to talk about tonight is we're going to look at who we think the head coaches that are on the hot seat in 2025 are going to be.
Yeah. You remember last year when we thought for sure one coach was getting fired, and then somehow the dude. Oh,
I think I mentioned it last week, or it might have been 2 weeks ago. I had 4 coaches that were for sure.
I had the over.
Fired.
I had the over under at 3.5. I had the over because I remember asking you straight up. I was like, "What's the number? 3.5?" And you're like, "Eh." You're like, "Yeah, maybe, yeah." But then like nobody gets fired. Not a single
person did.
But that means this year, somebody getting cleaned.
There's at least one. So do you want to go first?
Are we doing this in order? Because I don't really have an order. I
don't have an order. Now
Okay.
I've got a clear number 1 who I think is getting fired this year.
I'm gonna let you go first since you're so sure on this guy. Let's hear it. I'm not that sure on anybody really.
Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops has nowhere to go.
But I feel like that should have happened last year, my boy. Like I don't know, man.
It should have. But look, all right, so he has consistently been around the 6-6 mark
in the SEC. Yeah, he's 500 in the SEC below.
Yeah, every once in a while he'll get 8-4 and had a couple of 10-win seasons, but it's been a few years now since that's happened.
He's never been better than 6-2 in the SEC. He's so he's really a 3-5 in the SEC coach.
Yeah.
Period.
4-8 this past season, the first time that he has had a losing record since I believe his 3rd year on the job or his 2nd year. I don't have his stats pulled up, but Kentucky fans 2 seasons ago were ready to get rid of him after losing to Tennessee in Lexington with the Joe Milton led team. And this past season, there's a lot of Kentucky fans that are completely out on him. If he has another year like he did last year, I think Kentucky has to fire him.
I get it. Now, I agree with that, so I'm going to go with a different coach.
All right, go with it.
I'm going to go straight for the jugular. You ready for this?
I think I know who you're going to say.
Kalen DeBoer.
Oh, that is not who I thought you were going to say.
Dude, the way they finished last year, if he doesn't make it to the playoff this year.
You might be right.
Yeah, I think I'm right. I think I've heard from several folks in that department that says, man, if Kalen DeBoer doesn't find a way to get 10-2 and make it to the playoff, I mean, if he goes 9-3 or worse this year, because right now they're blaming it on Jalen Milroe, which I think is freaking stupid. Whatever. But he's got to find somebody, because I don't follow Bama that hard or strong, but I know Ty Simpson's there because his father's UT Martin coach and whatnot, and he was kind of heavily involved in the Tennessee recruitment. But either way, I think they're banking on Ty Simpson being that dude. I just don't think he's that guy. So I'm very intrigued to see who wins that quarterback job and then how he does with the team. But Kalen DeBoer, in my opinion, if there's 2 years in a row in a 12-team playoff and Alabama's not even in it, there's no shot he's coming back for a third year.
So I've actually,
and if
got
I'm wrong,
2 tiers
comment please.
So I've actually got 2 tiers of the SEC firing. I've got I believe they are getting fired at the end of this season, and then
Fair.
I've got the tier of, if this season goes bad, then next season they are getting fired.
But the way I'm looking at it is the way you have it titled, hot seat. Who's got the most pressure on them this year? And to me, that's Kalen DeBoer.
Okay, so I guess I could, if we had the time, we could go through and rank the pressure that each coach is under, and I could totally get behind that Kalen DeBoer arguably has the most pressure against him. So, but I would,
his seat's kind of
it's pretty warm, but I still put him in that second tier of his seat is warm.
All right,
but I don't think he gets fired this year.
Then you assuming that Bama makes it to playoff, which is fine. But I'm saying if they don't, and I don't think they will, I think he's gone, man. That's just my thought. Who's your next coach?
Somebody that I thought you were gonna say with your first one. Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I knew.
Brian Kelly at LSU.
Yeah,
has over 3 years has gone 20-7.
How's that locker room doing too? Right. I mean, obviously, R.I.P. Kyron Lacey. But like, how do you think that kind of affects some of the folks in that room too? Because I mean, Kyron Lacey is one of your leaders, wide receivers. So you got obviously the struggles of very much underachieving, and now you're having to fight that kind of battle. But yeah, 100% LSU. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in 3 seasons at LSU, obviously his first season went 10-4 and actually made the SEC title game.
Beat Bama.
Yeah, beat Bama. You did get curb stomped by Tennessee at home that year, but made the
40-13, baby.
Yeah, made the SEC title game because there was still divisions at the time. You were the best team in the West, even though you were the 3rd best team or 4th best team overall in the SEC, behind Georgia, Tennessee, and I think
Tennessee finished second in the conference that year, 100%.
Yeah.
But because of the East-West divisions, which is now gone, Tennessee could have been, in today's world, right? Tennessee would have been that other team, and which I'm okay that they weren't. Honestly, it's fine. But
went 10-4 that season, 10-3 in his second season, and then 9-4 this past year. Which any other school, like we'll take Kentucky for instance. If Brian Kelly was coaching at Kentucky and this was the record over his first 3 seasons, hey, Kentucky's fine with that. But this is LSU. LSU has higher standards, especially with what they are paying Brian Kelly at LSU, and he's just not living up to it. And I don't know how much longer LSU is going to be okay with it.
And not doing a good against your rivals. I mean, since they beat Alabama or whatnot, it's really not been the same. And them and Ole Miss has been like a freaking shootout every year since he's been there. It's been insane. It's kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, I agree with that pick 100%. Brian Kelly that's a good pick.
I think there's still one more obvious one.
There's another obvious one, but I don't know if I want to pick it yet. I'm gonna go Brent Venables.
That's a great pick.
Is that the obvious one? Because I don't think it's obvious. Okay, thank you.
There's still an obvious one.
But Brent Venables coming off a year, which it was probably Oklahoma's worst year, period. Like between SEC, or I'm gonna just call it conference play because they don't lose more than 2 conference games ever, but they learn pretty quick in the SEC. The expectations are a little bit different. So, but Oklahoma, they've got to figure something out on the offense, right? They completely botched, I think, the quarterback situation there last year because I think Arnold was that dude. I think he was just a true freshman trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Or redshirt freshman. I can't remember. But either way, it was his first full season starting. I think he was a redshirt freshman. First full season starting, was trying to learn, and you're going up against Tennessee, went to the playoff, but in my opinion, had a top 3 defense in the nation. And you bench him in that game because he made some terrible decisions in a game where he felt like he had to make plays. And I think they completely botched it. And I think in turn, not only did it ruin his career there at Oklahoma, but I think it hurt their entire season after that, trying to figure it out. And this year, I don't know who they're riding with, if it's going to be Hawkins or if they got somebody in the portal, but they're going to need to figure out that position. They're going to need to figure out the wide receiver position because, one, they were all hurt last year, and I think a couple of them ended up hitting the portal and getting the heck out of there. And so there's already some like negative attrition there. And so they got to figure it out, get on the right side of this thing, but their schedule doesn't get any easier. They're playing the exact same opponents for the most part, other than the non-con. It's just, like I said, and that's for every team because all they did was flip the home and aways, and then the order of when they play them. So Oklahoma's got to figure it out, and they've got to figure out how to get 8-4. 9-3, I think, for Brent to save his job. I think if he goes 7-5 or worse, Brent, in my opinion, bye-bye, Bubba.
Yeah, I've kind of got him on.
I know.
On the
I'm picking the tier 2 guys apparently, but I feel like those 2 coaches, aside from what you've already chosen, I'm not trying to choose the same coaches you are. Those 2 coaches, in my opinion, have some really high pressure on them this year.
They do, and that's why I have Venables on the fence. There's one thing that is keeping me from putting him on the hot seat, and that's the fact that Oklahoma gave him an extension at the end of last season. So obviously they can give him an extension last year and still fire him this year based upon
they gave him an extension because he beat Bama, bro. That's all it was.
Yeah, but I mean, you give him an extension, and a lot of times that means
a fire next year.
Well, I mean, you've given
in Tennessee's case at least.
Oh, well, yeah. In Tennessee's case, yes. But most of the time, if you get an extension, you've pretty much locked up 2 years.
I don't know. Auburn's case.
Yeah.
Extension, fire next year. It's very normal for somebody to get an extension and then get fired the very next year. I don't know. I'm not going to hang my hat and say that he's there for the next 2 years because of the extension.
That's fair. But that's the only thing keeping me from putting him on the surefire hot seat. I've got him. He's one of mine that's on the fence. But I will say this. He's got a chance to turn this around.
He does.
If he focuses on the defense and lets his offensive coordinator do his job the way that
get his hand out of the bucket.
Yes. Oklahoma can have success this year. They can go 8-4 or better. And he can turn things around in Oklahoma.
So you think he might be a little bit micromanaging the team, maybe?
That's exactly what it is. That's what the problem was this year. He was micromanaging both sides of the field instead of focusing on what he knows, which is defense, and letting his offensive coordinator do the job.
Right on. So who's your obvious? And I think I know who it is, but I want you to go ahead and name it.
The obvious is Billy Napier. They gave him one more year because you had DJ Lagway coming back this year. You have all this talent coming back. You looked really good towards the end of last year. People were questioning that, why are you extending Billy Napier for one more season? Why are you giving him another chance?
You just contradicted yourself is what you did. That's why I'm so like, if you're watching or if you're watching later, like that's why my face is what it was, because you absolutely just contradicted yourself.
But look, you gave yourself hope at the end of last season, and if you turn around this year and you completely crap the bed this season, Florida's another one of those programs like LSU. They're not gonna stand for mediocrity.
I agree. Neither's Oklahoma. Neither's Alabama. Like,
I mean, fair.
I
But
just look.
Look, Napier has to have success this season, otherwise he is gone.
I agree, but I think that is the exact same reason why I chose Kalen and Brent Venables. Like, if they don't have success, those programs aren't settling. They're not a South Carolina or Missouri, man. Those teams can go 7-5, and they're okay with it. They're not going to fire you for that. Oklahoma, you go 7-5 back-to-back years, dude, and you only went 7-5 last year because, I mean, I ain't taking away from that Bama. That was an absolute butt whooping, but like nobody counted on you beating Bama at that point in the year, and so you were staring at 6-6 in the face, and you somehow pulled it out, went to 7-5, and I don't know. I agree, Billy Napier's, but that is not the direction. That is not the direction I thought you were going.
All right. So what's the direction? Don't tell me you're gonna go with old Colbert.
No. Jeff Lebby. Jeff Lebby, really, really bad year last year, and we kind of gave him some slack. Like, hey, Mississippi State's just down right now. Really has been for several years. But Jeff Lebby didn't really do anything to spark anything either. And I've not really heard anything in the offseason to say that that's going to change. So if he goes back-to-back years, would he go winless in the SEC?
Yeah.
If he does that again, man, he's out. There's no shot. Like, I'm sorry, but a team's not going to sit there and say, oh, you get 4 years to build your team if you're going 0-8 in the SEC. It's just not going to happen. I know it's Mississippi State, but even Mississippi State, I think, values themselves, especially if they lose to Ole Miss. I mean, that's their Super Bowl, right? Like, you can't. I don't know. I just feel like Jeff Lebby's got a little bit of pressure. Any coach coming 0 off a season, winless, I just feel like there's an immense amount of pressure coming into the next year. And Jeff Lebby, in my opinion, is that guy.
You could be right. Now, I did not have him on my list, but
of course, you've not agreed with me on a single pick that I've had tonight. That's fine. It's fine. Screw you, Michael.
Hey, that's why we have lists, and that's why we don't. That's why we don't discuss things beforehand. We all have our opinions. So he wasn't on my list, but I credit that to the situation Mississippi State put themselves in with Zach Arnett, the one season that they brought him, or that they upgraded him from defensive coordinator to head coach. They put themselves behind the 8 ball. Now, I will give you this, that the way the NIL is now, the way everything is in college football, they absolutely are not going to stand for having a 4 or 5 year rebuild before having success.
Right.
You want to rebuild soon. So he could absolutely be on this list, but I think that he gets a 3rd season no matter what happens this year. I could be totally wrong, though. So you might be onto something there with Jeff Lebby.
Could I add one?
Go for it.
I don't think he gets fired this year, but definitely underperformed considering expectations with the schedule that they had.
I know exactly who you're going with.
Eli Drinkwitz.
He is on my list of if he doesn't have success this year, the next season he's on that hot list. He's on that second tier list.
But I'm saying, like, his seeds gets really hot if he goes even worse. Like, if he goes, and I hate to say, like 8-4, 7-5 with the schedule I think they had last year and will have this year.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you should be 10-2. I mean, easily. And I think we were saying 10-2 on the worst side last year. Their like hardest opponent, I think, was. Who did they play? I don't know. Their schedule was so weak.
Texas A&M was their hardest opponent by
That's
far.
crazy. That's crazy work. Like, to be able to manufacture that type of schedule with I mean, SEC's got 6 pretty freaking good teams, and Texas A&M, in my opinion, is not one of the 6th. But they were right there on the fringe. I don't know. It's just you got to do better than that. And Missouri getting blown out. I think they played Alabama, didn't they?
Blown out by Alabama. Got shut out by Alabama.
They played Alabama. I'll give them that. But Alabama and A&M are their 2 absolute. Those were the games. It's like, okay, we if we don't win, whatever, let's win the rest. And yeah, they got absolutely. I don't know. Drinkwitz coming off a 10-2 season. I think they ended up going 11-2, beating Ohio State, and then following that with the year they had last year, where he was not jokingly saying that they have a shot at the playoff. No, you didn't. And then, I don't know. I just feel like that he's an embarrassment to the team when he says some stuff like that and doesn't follow it up. And dude, if he doesn't do something this year, I'm not saying he's gone, but definitely some talks and articles will be coming about hot seat. So
Yeah. So I've got
that's me stretching a little bit. So
I've got one more name that is fringe, could be hot, could be he bought another year after last year.
Josh Heupel.
Sam Pittman. Look, Sam Pittman, he turned it around a little bit
did.
after last year, but how much of that do you credit to
Van Buren?
Bobby Petrino?
Well, I was going to say they still got that,
offense.
and they still got that quarterback. So in my mind, they're going into year 2 with a really stud quarterback, and that's why I didn't really say Billy. I mean, Billy's got DJ Lagway. They're Jesus on the team, and
that's why I have Pittman on here, because him and Napier are very similar to me. That they showed promise last year, but if they just completely crap the bed this year, they're not going to get another season.
So, and I agree with that, but they've at least got their guy and they know how to build around it.
Yes.
The thing about my picks, majority of them, Alabama, they don't really know who's starting at quarterback.
That's fair.
Oklahoma, do they really know who's starting at quarterback?
Yeah, Oklahoma does. That freshman that took over.
Hawkins, I doubt it.
You don't think he is?
I doubt it. That's not the guy that's going to take them the way. I don't think so. And then I thought one more person. But either way, Jeff Lebby, obviously, they've got a guy. I think they've got a guy. He played good against Tennessee, at least in the first half.
They've got Van Buren. Arkansas's got
Van Buren.
they've got
Taylor Green. I mixed up those two. I'm so sorry. But, I guess just, the coaches that or the offenses, I guess, that I was kind of going around is, they're going through a quarterback change of some sort. Are they going to be able to build around that? Because obviously there's so much pressure on a quarterback in the college game that if you don't have the guy at quarterback, Tennessee's going to learn this year. If you don't have that guy, the signal caller, it really uncovers all the other issues you've got on the team.
Yeah. So I have 2 more. Now, these are teetering on tier 2, tier 3. I'm not really concerned about them.
Kirby Smart.
No, not Kirby.
Well, I mean, he's not really made the championship game here in the last couple of years.
So the first one is Hugh Freeze.
What?
If he,
I can see that.
Well, that's why I say tier 2, tier 3. He's teetering on that line because he's gone 6-6 in the last 2 seasons. He's had 2 bad losses.
We're gonna have to stop the show. 1, Texas guy in the chat, but 2, he's like being nice for some reason. Texas fan here. I think Tennessee will end up 10-2 and in the 10-15 college football bubble even after Aguilar. What do you want? Do you want me to Venmo you? Like what? Like I don't know. Like I can't. I don't have a lot, brother. I've got maybe $2 in the account, but like by God, you're supposed to be like I'm giving you entertainment. No, dude, I appreciate it, and I really appreciate the realism there and the expectations. I don't know, man. We'll see. Tennessee's. I said we'll learn because if Aguilar's that guy and Josh Heupel can build him up, man, I'm huge. I'm stoked. But if he's not that guy, we have a redshirt freshman and a true freshman in behind him, and that's it. Tennessee's going to learn how good the rest of the team is. That's kind of like the point I was trying to make. You have a team that doesn't have a good quarterback. It can really uncover. I mean, think of like 2016 Tennessee. I know you're a Texas fan, but like think of 2016 team Tennessee without Josh Dobbs.
Probably go 7-5 or worse.
I mean, you still had Alvin Kamara, but dude, you had to have Josh Dobbs to unlock Alvin Kamara. You had to have the quarterback run game too, right? And so it's like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Hendon Hooker, dude. Without Hendon Hooker, we're not 11-2 at the end of the year. I mean, I know we beat Clemson without him, but like in my opinion, you don't unlock the rest of your offense without having a guy that can truly not just take control, but be able to make those off-script plays and be mature enough to do that. And that's something Hendon Hooker was so good at. Josh Dobbs was so good at. And
yeah,
I'm hoping Aguilar.
Yeah. So Hugh Freeze for me, he's gone 6-6 the last 2 seasons. Had 2 bad losses in each of the years. He hasn't really had a quarterback, in my opinion. Peyton Thorne, he was just a guy that was out there filling the quarterback position. You got Jackson Arnold now. So you've got a quarterback there that is capable. You've also got talent around him on the offensive side of the ball, and you've got a pretty decent defense too. This is the year that Auburn needs to have that at least 8-4 type season and try to upset a couple folks. So if it doesn't happen this year, then I think next year he's more on that hot seat. But I think Auburn is still content with having him through this season, and then next year is your show me season. Now, the other one on my list of that tier 2, tier 3, it is Josh Heupel, because you just let Nico walk after that whole situation. Granted, you had to, in my opinion, you had to let him walk because no person is bigger than the team. But you've also put yourself in a position where you let him walk, you'll get Joey Aguilar, and you've also got Merklinger and you've got McIntyre in the background. If Tennessee falls to 8-4, 7-5 this season, then he's going to have a target on his back going in the next season of, all right, you got to show me something now, or do we have to move on to somebody else because you just have not had that success that you were planning on with these talented quarterbacks? That's why I've got Josh Heupel in the tier 2, tier 3, that transition.
Josh Heupel ain't getting fired, period. Not even next year.
No, I don't think so either, because I think Tennessee's going to have success. But
well, I mean, Josh Heupel's
worst
worst year, his first year, and was basically our best year in the first 15 years or the last 15 years. So, I mean, I'm not worried. Even if we have a down year, I don't think Josh Heupel is gone. Like, just period. I don't think so. But I did find out Saturday Down South ranked their coaches in the SEC. Are you interested?
I'm interested.
You want to take a guess at who they got at 16?
16 is Jeff Lebby.
I like to throw myself a bone on that because I do think that that's accurate.
Yep.
15.
Clark Lee.
Hugh Freeze.
That's
so
fair.
give yourself a bone because you mentioned him. I'm going to throw myself a bone because you absolutely thought I was crazy. But Brent Venables comes in at 14.
I didn't think you were crazy. I just had
you did. You're kind of like
I had him in that transition.
No, I got you. So Brent Venables comes in at 14.
13's got to be Mark Stoops.
Sam Pittman.
Okay.
So overall, we're pretty accurate, but we both missed on 2 wildly, but it's fine. Everybody knows mine, so it's fine. 12 is Clark Lee. 11, Billy Napier. Mark Stoops getting some love here. Mike Elko comes in at 10, which I think is fucking.
There is no way that they have Mike Elko ranked lower than Mark Stoops on this list.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
By 1, Mark Stoops is at 9. Yep. This is Saturday Down South, bro. This is a legit. I mean, this is crazy, but Mark Stoops comes in at 9. Shane Beamer at 8. Eli Drinks at 7. Lane Kiffin at 6. Josh Heupel at 5.
You know what? Now, I'm glad to finally see a list that puts Heupel over Kiffin because I feel like
he
Heupel
deserves to be over Kiffin.
Over Kiffin, yes.
He absolutely deserves to be over Kiffin. And the only reason I think they weren't is because Kiffin beat Heupel in year 1 under Heupel. And because of that, they were like, Kiffin's better. And I'm like, no. Like,
but I mean, how many lists have we seen that have had Kiffin over Heupel? And they've been like back-to-back. It's been Heupel, then Kiffin.
But here's where I think it gets crazy. All right, so you truly think Brian Kelly's got a lot of pressure on him?
Yes.
I think he does too. He comes in number 4. And the coach that I think has probably the most pressure on them as far as like championship type odds is Kalen DeBoer, and he comes in at 3. And I just, maybe he is that good of a coach, but I'm telling you right now, Alabama, and I could be wrong. I've got a lot of friends in my Facebook that's going to watch this. And I'm serious. If they go 9-3 or worse, that dude is legitimately getting threatened and fired. And I know the fan base is going to be calling for it. It's going to be the administration, obviously, that makes the decision at the end of the day. But how do you fight it? Right? When Danny White says the inevitable, like, might as well just pull the plug now, rip the Band-Aid off. If you've got your fan base coming at you at 9-3 and you lose to Tennessee again, and especially at home or something like that crazy, Kalen DeBoer is going to have a very uncomfortable seat.
So do you think maybe these rankings are just based off of like
Steve
on the
Stark,
field success and
Steve
stuff
Stark
like that?
at 2 and Kirby Smart at 1? No, because in that case, Josh Heupel would be above Kalen DeBoer and stuff like that, in my opinion. Maybe not, because Kalen DeBoer went to the playoff.
Kalen DeBoer
with
went
Washington.
to the playoffs and went to a national title game.
But what has Brian Kelly done? Went to playoffs with Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean,
or not playoffs, but
he went to the championship game with Notre Dame. So I guess it's overall like tenure, their success, and all that. Now, if it's going
to be an all inclusive, right? It's going to be like if you had a head coaching search, this is their list on like who's going to be the best, right?
So this right here is just a list of the best coaches in the SEC. This is not SEC coaching power rankings. If it was the power rankings, which is what you've done for me lately, this would be a totally different list.
Maybe.
I mean, I would put. Okay, I'm not going to go that far. I was going to say I would put Sark over Kirby because of last season's success,
Absolutely not.
but
Absolutely
Kirby
not.
did beat him twice. It was just
Yeah,
the fact that Texas
absolutely
made
not.
it
Don't
further.
go crazy on me here. But you got anything to close it, man? I got to wrap this thing up. Go eat some dinner.
No, just another great show tonight. Unfortunately, did not have on the field success that we really wanted this past week, but we did see another week of Tennessee baseball, Tennessee softball. Get ready for some tournament action this week in softball.
Who's
Get
Tennessee playing
right,
this week? Vanderbilt and
Vanderbilt this weekend in Knoxville.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm assuming.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken.
Right
I don't have that pulled up anymore,
Fine.
but
I don't need.
got to win in state. It is in Knoxville. Haven't had the best success. I won't say sweep. It would be nice.
Got to make up for it. You got to sweep.
It would be nice, but the way Vanderbilt's playing, it's going to be a tall task. But
Well, that's why it'd be better to sweep them, and just make it feel so much better. And shout out to Vandy fans. I've seen some posts on Facebook real quick, and after taking the series away from Alabama, I seen somebody say, "Man, it looks like Bama just can't beat Vanderbilt in anything this year." I was like, "Little brother's learning how to trash talk, dude. It's crazy."
Finally,
I'm telling you, man, it's been kind of awkward in those rooms. And so I'm ready to see an SEC Shorts video with something kind of like that, like Darth Vader, Vanderbilt coming out, just beating Bama in every sport. Like, it'd be awesome. No,
shout out to SEC Shorts, by the way.
Yeah.
There's some fantastic videos this year.
Absolutely. But no,
appreciate everybody tuning in. A later night tonight. We will be back on schedule next week, barring any other changes. We will try to let you know ahead of time if those happen. But until next week, go Big Orange, everybody.